Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 5 of my C++ video tutorial series. In this part of the tutorial series, I'm going to cover a lot of math functions available to us, as well as a whole bunch of interesting things we can do with strings. And like always, the problems you're going to have to solve for this tutorial are going to be much more complicated than the last tutorial. Like always, all of the code and a transcript of the entire video is available in the description underneath the video, and I have a lot to do, so let's get into it. And pardon me, I just got over a horrible sickness, so just powering through here and trying to make you a video, so hopefully you enjoy it. Alright, so first off, let's talk about strings. Now, a C character string, which you might be aware of, is basically just an array of characters with a null character at the end. And this is what I mean by null character, okay? And we'll just create one. So, inside of main, I'm going to go character, and this is going to be a C string, and it is called C string. It's a character array. C, the named C string. Just don't want to cause confusion with that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put in all of the characters separated by commas, and that is also going to include any spaces that we have. So we can call this guy a string, right, like this. Alright, and there you got a string, which is just a character array, and then finally we're going to have also inside of single quotes a null character, which is a backslash and a 0. Alright, so there you go. There is your C type of string that we have, and we're going to improve on that dramatically. Now, you're going to be able to get the array size, just like we did previously. It's just by going array and size, and then we can go and reference by passing size of the C string array that we want, and of course that's going to give us our total number of items, and within there is also going to be the null character. So you see there array 9, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so that's what that is, and we can do some more, and we're going to improve on that, of course. But basically, C strings are going to be troublesome because if you forget the null character or if you add too much information, what it's going to do is it's going to lead to your program to either your program to crash or the entire system to crash. Now, C++ standard strings, like we have seen previously, on the other hand, are going to be able to grow in size. We're not going to have to worry about null characters, and they're just plain off much simpler. Okay, so what I want to do here is, before I demonstrate how these are going to work, I'm going to actually create a vector of C++ strings. So let's go and create a vector, and we'll be getting into problems here very quickly. There that is. And I'm just going to call this string vec, and let's say that I want to have 10 spaces set aside whenever the vector is first created, and let's just go get rid of that. Now I'm going to go in and create a string and give it a default value, and we're going to use double quotes with this. So I'm going to say something like I'm a string. And then I'm just going to throw this string into my vector just so that I will be able to easily output information here as we continue. Now you're going to be able to access characters just like previously using an index. So let's say I guess I want to reference the first item in my string that I created here. I can do so, of course. And you can see I comes back. You're also going to be able to do this using @. So you can go string and then dot @ and then throw your index inside of there. And you can see the output, see, exactly the same on the right side of the screen. There's numerous other different functions that I'm of course going to give you a whole bunch of demonstrations of. We're going to be able to come in here and call front, which is going to give us our first character. So I'll just call string front. And then we're also going to have, well, let's go and throw a space inside of here. We also have string back. And you can see there's the first letter as well as the last one. We're of course going to be able to get our length for our string. So let's go and get our length just by referencing the string and then following that up with the length method. And you can see length comes back as 12. And you can see that is exactly the same length as the string that we have input into str, the variable str. You're going to be able to also come in here and copy strings just by creating an additional string like this, and then passing in whatever the original string was. And let's go and throw that into our vector as well. Actually, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to output all of the information I throw in that string vec just so it's easier to cycle through. And I'm going to use the abbreviated for here with auto. Auto, of course, is just going to define whatever the data type is for me. And I can cycle through every single item that is inside of my string vector and then output all of the things that I place inside of it. Just to ease things up here, make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. All right, so we got that set up. And let's just change this to string vec like that. And now we can run it. And you can see AmaString shows up there and AmaString once again. And the reason why it shows up there 2 times is because string 2 has exactly the same data as string 1 because I copied the string into the first string into the second string, okay? You're also going to be able to come in and just copy up to a certain point. So let's go and create another string. And let's call this string 3. And we can go and say we want string, the very first one, and we want to copy everything after the first 4 characters. Well, that's how you do that. And then, of course, I can go copy this right here into my vector. So let's change this to 2 and change this to 3. And you can see it just copied everything after the 4th character, just like I said we wanted to do. You can also do all kinds of weird things, like let's say we wanted to create a string. Let's call it string 4. And we wanted to repeat the same value over and over again in the string a certain number of times. So let's say we want to create a string and we want 5 x's inside of that string. Well, that's how we do that. And then we can come down here and throw our new string 4 into there. And you can see it's exactly what it produced for us. We're also going to be able to combine strings with either append or just a plus sign. So let's go and get string vec 4. And let's say equal to whatever the original string was. And then we'll call append, and then we'll put you can either put a variable inside of here, or we can throw an actual string inside of it. So we'll say, and you're not. And just to demonstrate another one, we can also go str plus equal to, and we'll go, and whoops, let's go and throw a space in there again, and you're not. Okay, and if we run it, you're gonna see a string and all these guys, different guys pop up here. It says AmaString and you're not. And if we come down here and actually output that string that we have right there with the new change to it, so string like this, and with a new line after it, you'll see that they actually, see, AmaString and you're not. See, it says AmaString and you're not, see, twice over and over and over again. Okay, so kind of neat. So there's 2 different ways to append strings together, or add strings together, however you want to refer to it. You're also going to be able to append part of a string. So you just go append once again, and you go and get your string. And let's go 34 to 37. And then we'll go string vec. And 5 is going to be equal to str once again. And you can see it just keeps on going, and you're not, and you're not, and you're not, and you're not. We're also going to be able to come in and erase characters from a string from an index to another index or the last index, like I'm going to do here. So I'm going to say that I want to go and get our string that we've been adding all sorts of stuff to, and I want to delete some stuff off of it. So I'm going to say I want to start at the 13th index. I want to delete everything from there until the very, very end of it. So we'll go like this. And then we can see how our string changed by throwing this inside of our new vector. And you can see that after we added in the and you're not, and then we just kept adding and you're not, and you're not, and you're not over and over again. Now we finally got to the point where we changed it back to its original string. So a whole bunch of different ways that you can manipulate and change strings. Another thing that's interesting about strings is we're going to be able to come in here and search for different pieces of information. So for example, we'll be able to use a function called find, which is going to return an index where a specific pattern is found. So we can come in and we can do if str.find, and we can say that we are specifically looking for string, or the word string inside of the string with the name str. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if we were able to find any. And how you do that is you'll say not equal to, and we'll go standard string And npos is going to be returned if there is no match. So we're saying if this does not return this value right here, well, then we know that we do have a match. So in that situation, we're going to output some information. So we'll say something like the first hit that we had here is going to, then we'll just call string find and string. Let's change that to first index. And you can see it hits right there. First index is 6 for the matching word string. Actually, I think I'm going to get rid of this guy here because it's becoming a little bit distracting. So paste that inside of there and we'll just run it. And there you can see first index is 6. A little bit easier to see. All right, let's run through a couple other different things we can do here. You're also going to be able to return a substring, and you can define the index where you want to start and then the length. So let's go in here and grab a substring. So I'm just gonna call this sub str. Okay, that works good. I'm gonna go get my original string that I've been working with, and I'm gonna say that I want to start at the 6th index, and I want to go up to a length of 6, and that's gonna return that to me. And I could, of course, store that into a variable or do whatever I'd like with it. And you could see it returns the word string. Another thing we can do is we could reverse a string. So we do that by calling a function called reverse. And then we pass in both the beginning of our string as well as the end of our string, which we want to have the values reversed. And it automatically does that for us. That's kind of cool. So this inside here, change this to reverse, and then let's just output our new changed string and see how that works out for us. And there you can see it went and reversed our string that we threw inside of there. So kinds of crazy stuff built into C++. We could also do case conversion, and to do that, we're going to use a function called transform. Once again, let's go and I'm going to get string 2 in this situation. And I'm going to reference the beginning of string 2, and then I'm going to go and get the end of string 2, and I'm going to convert the whole entire thing to uppercase. So string 2 dot begin, and then we're going to go to upper, and that's going to get us uppercase versions. And let's go and let's also copy this. Well, let's go and throw this down at the bottom first off, and throw this down here, and then we'll call this just upper, and then of course get string 2. And then if you want to convert, and this is going to affect every character in the string, and here we'll go and all the same things, and we'll just change this to lower. That's all you need to do. And then this is going to be lower also. And you can see that it went and converted this to uppercase and that to lowercase, of course. Another thing that is interesting is that each character is going to get an ASCII code assigned for it. So you can actually get the ASCII code for a character by saving the character as an integer, or you can do a cast or what have you. And this is going to be important information because this is going to come up in your very first problem today. So basically the character codes for lowercase a through lowercase z are going to be 97 through 122, and uppercase z through uppercase z is going to be 65 through 90. All right, let me do a demonstration here, and then what you're going to be able to do is get your first problem of the day to solve. So I'm going to go and create a character, and I'll just call it a character, and then I will assign to it let's do a capital letter Z just to be weird. All right, so there's a capital letter Z. Now I can go int, and a integer is equal to a character. And what this is going to do is if I go standard cout and output this I'll just call it A code. Well, this is actually Z code. Let's change it to A just so it doesn't cause any, just so you're not confused. Okay, so here is A in its character form. Here it is in its integer form. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to output this, and I can just go int like that and A. And that's going to give me the character code. Either way you want to do it, it's up to you. And here we can run that. You can see the character code for A is 97, exactly like I told you it was right there. All right, so that's how you can get character codes. Kind of neat stuff. Something else you might want to find handy is, let's say we want to convert an integer to a string. Well, we would just go integer string, string, number is going to be, and you would go standard, and then you would call to string like this. And I could go 1 plus 2 just to make this a little bit more interesting. And then let's just go string like this, and then get the output for this guy. And if I do that, you're going to see that it comes back. It went and added those values together, then converted it into a string, saved it into the variable called string num, and then we output that on the screen. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. And now we have come to the part where you are going to get to solve your very first problem. Okay, so for your very first problem, what I want you to do is your program is going to receive an uppercase string, all uppercase letters, okay? And then it's going to hide the meaning by basically turning each of those letters into whatever their corresponding ASCII code is. Okay, so I've provided you with everything you need, and we're just going to be working with uppercase in this situation, so 65 through 90, and that should provide you with a hint why I'm doing uppercase. And basically you just need to take each individual letter and convert it into its individual ASCII code. All right, so you can pause the video and try to do that. And also what you can do is translate it back to its original letters as bonus homework. And otherwise, I will show you how to do it right now. All right, so what are we going to need to do? When I'm creating a program, I like to think about what are the key pieces of data that I am going to need to store. So I'm going to get my normal string that the user is going to pass in, and then I'm going to get my secret string, which is going to be what I am going to convert, those letters into whatever their ASCII codes are. All right, so those are the two things I need, and I can't really think of anything else I need right now. So maybe I need something else, maybe I don't. I don't know. All right, so what did I say? I said that I'm going to ask the user to enter a string in uppercase letters. So I'm going to say enter your string in uppercase, and like that. I am then going to store whatever they send to me into my normal string. Then we got to think about the different things that we're going to need to do. I am going to need to cycle through each of the characters, of course, and I'm going to need to convert them into their ASCII codes. So how are we going to do that? Well, I'm just going to say for, and I'm going to be working with characters. So, and don't worry if you didn't get this, just like always, the goal here is really to just be able to understand what my final output is. And if you get any other type of output then that you'd like to share, then feel free to share it. So I'm going to go and get the individual character out of that string, and I'm going to convert it into a character code by calling int on the character, casting to an int, and you can see that it saved that right like that, and it's going to save it into my secret string. So kind of neat stuff. Now what I can do is I can output the secret message on the screen. So I can say secret, and there it is, and secret string, and we can output this on the screen just to see if we are getting the right type of output here. So enter your string in uppercase, and I can say something like hello, and you can see it gave me this crazy looking series of numbers instead, which makes it impossible to understand. Okay, so let's go and continue here. Now what I want to do is I want to convert it back. So I'm going to go normal string, and I'm going to zero out the normal string. I'm going to convert it from its secret code back to its regular way. So how am I going to do that? Well, you have to understand now, each of those characters is represented by 2 digits, okay? So that's the reason why I made this problem a little bit easy. In the beginning, I said everything can be uppercase, so you didn't have sometimes single or double digits and sometimes triple digits. Don't worry, that problem is going to be presented to you here in a minute. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to cycle through those 2 at a time. So I'm going to say I want to create a for loop, and I is equal to, and we're going to start at the 0 index. And I'm going to say that I'm going to continue while I is less than the secret string length And I'm going to increment 2 at a time through here. This might have caught you. That's okay. How we can increment through 2 at a time is right like that. And I'm going to put a space in there. Not because I need it, just thought it looked a little bit neater. Okay, so that's going to allow me to increment through the secret string 2 at a time and then convert them back into letters. All right, so to get them, I'm going to go and create a string, and I'm going to call this a string, but it's going to be the character code in string format, and I'm just going to give it no value here in the beginning. Then I'm going to go and get or add to this string that's going to hold the character code, and I'm going to get the very first index out of here. So I can go I like that. And then I'm going to add the second one just by going I plus 1. So there, and then I can go plus 1. All right, and that's how I'm going to be able to grab those out of there individually. Now what I want to do is I want to convert the string into an integer, and I can move this up, I'm sure. I'm going to convert the string that I grabbed out of there into an integer. So I'm going to create an integer, and I'm going to put an n in front of here just so that I know that is an integer. So this is the integer version of character code, and to convert it, I go stoi and s, whatever the character code was in the string format, and that's how we convert from strings to integers. Now I can convert from the int back into a character by going character, and this time I'm going to go ch, saying this is the character version of our character code, and I can go character code. That's how you can easily convert from a character or an integer into a character. You just save it as a character and it does it automatically. And then I can go normal string, and add in our character code. All right, and there is our normal string. So now after doing all that, I should be able to output our original input, and we will have our secret. So we will just call this, I'm going to call this original, and then I can go and call normal string. As long as I program that right, it should work. So I'm going to say enter your string in uppercase. Okay, well I'm going to say hello, and it's going to go and convert it into our secret message, and then it's going to reevaluate it and turn it back to its original. Okay, so cool stuff. So now what I'd like you to do for the second part of the problem is try to figure out how you will be able to allow the user to enter both upper and lowercase letters by only changing 2 things, which is the subtracting and adding of one value in the code you see right here. And that is going to allow you, just one addition and one subtraction is going to allow you to receive both uppercase and lowercase letters. So you can go and pause your video and try to figure that out. Otherwise, I will do it for you. Okay, so I don't know if you got it or not, but basically what we're going to do here is we're looking, okay, so what's the problem we're trying to solve? Well, we're trying to solve the problem as easily as possible is how are we going to be able to convert these letters into numbers and avoid sometimes having 3 digits and having to worry about converting from 2 and figuring out should it be a 2 or should it be 3 digits and so forth and so on. What is the easiest way to solve that problem? Well, the easiest way to do it is to eliminate the possibility of ever having 3 digits. And how can we do that? Well, all we need to do is come down here where we are first converting from our letters to our numbers, which is going to be right here. And let's just subtract out 23. And no matter what it is always going to be a 2-digit number. All right, so pretty simple solution for that. Then all we're going to need to do is whenever we convert it back, we are going to, of course, have to change it or increase the value by 23. So that just means right down here, we'll come in and add in the 23 right back again. And now you can see that if I come in here, and it doesn't matter what I do, I can just go there. I'll just do it real simple. You can see that we were able to convert from dog back into dog, and I can do something even bigger. Elephant, just to change it a little bit different. Let's go to elephant like that, and you can see that we are able to basically receive a word, convert it into a bunch of secret messages with a number, and then convert it back to the original. Okay, so hopefully you guys got that. If you did, congratulations. If you didn't, don't worry about it. The goal, once again, is just to understand the final output. And now to finish out the video, I'd just like to give you a rundown of some of the main math functions available to us with C++. All right, so to get access to these other additional functions, we're going to go include and see math, and there's just a never-ending series of libraries we're going to be able to use. And let's just do something really simple here. I'm not gonna type all these out. I'm just gonna show you a couple of them, and then I'll go through and explain, like what they do. So let's say we wanted to do absolute value of -10. Of course, there's a function for that, and let's go throw a space inside of there. And to reference that function, we go standard and ABS and -10, of course, and can output that on the screen, and you can see, of course, that the value is indeed 10. All right, and there's numerous functions like that, and what I went and did was I went and created them for you, so you'll be able to see them all in one place. So here we are, and if I run this, you're going to see, and basically all you need to do is just replace the std with the 2 colons right there next to all this, and you'll see all of the different functions we have that are available to us. So we have absolute value, of course. You're going to have the max function, the min function. Of course, they're going to receive a decimal, an integer, and return either the maximum or the minimum. You can also, there is an equivalent for floating points or doubles, or however you want to refer to them. You're going to be able to calculate exponent, which is just going to be the value of e to whatever the value is that you put inside here. If you put 1 inside of there, obviously it's going to give you the value of e. Exponent 2, once again, it's going to give you 2 to the power of whatever you put inside here. So if it's 1, of course, that's going to give you the value of 2. Log sometimes confuses people, so I put a little bit of information here. Basically, if you take e times e times e, that's going to give you a value that is approximately equal to 20. So if you take the log of 20, that is going to give you a value that is approximately equal to 3. And you can see right here that that is indeed what it does. And likewise, log 10 is going to give, if you take 10 times 10 times 10, you get a value of 1,000 exactly. So if you do the log 10 of 1,000, you're going to get a value of 3, like you can see right there. And again, we have 2 times 2 times 2, 8. That's why you get 3 right there. We're going to be able to take 2 to the power of 3. We're going to be able to get square roots, cube roots, calculate hypotenuse. Ceiling is basically going to round up to whatever the next whole number is. Floor is going to round down, and then round is going to round based off of whatever this value is right here, this guy right here. So if this is 5 or above, it's going to round up, and if it's below 5, it's going to round down. So there's a rundown of all of the different math functions you have, or the main ones anyway, that you're going to use a lot. And then of course there's going to be a whole bunch of other trig functions that you all know and love that are also going to be available, that are going to be in this same exact type of format. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that tutorial and you enjoyed trying to solve those problems. And like always, please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.